Hello again, everybody, and welcome to another episode of Ballcaps and Bagpipes, a Scottish baseball podcast. And for the first time, we're doing a trial of video. So, hello from me. I'm John of the Glasgow Comets.
Hello, I'm Jason Derr, Baseball Scotland former president and Baseball Scotland Hall of Famer.
We've got a very special bonus episode in store for you guys. We're kind of doing a trial of video for a very special secret project that Jason and I are going to be working on from this week. I'm not sure if I can say anything, so I'll let him cover that. We have a great guest today, and what a fitting time to have him on. We've got Jason West, the founder and head coach of the Tayport Breakers, a brand new club that have joined the league this year. And with all the COVID stuff that's happened, they've unfortunately not been able to play a full season, but they've finally got a couple of games under their belt. So we're going to cover the experience that Jason's had of playing before and now getting this new club off the ground. Before we get into the interview, let's cover something quite major that happened out your end of the country this past weekend, Jason. It was the Brotchie Shield and the debut of that cup.
Yeah, so Donald Brotchie passed away this summer, and so they had a cup to commemorate him, and he was the one that set up the Edinburgh club originally. So I went down to the field for about half hour, 45 minutes. I chatted to Nick Clark, of course, one of our previous guests there, and I met Donald's wife and his son, who ended up playing a little bit that day. So we had pretty much any kind of person that's run the team since 1985, 86. So a lot of lineage there. That's
awesome, and it's great that his son managed to get a few innings in that game. Who were the winners?
You know what, to be honest, I don't know.
Well, we'll have to figure that out and get a chat with the winning team, or someone from the winning team in the next show.
We'll have to talk to Paul. Paul was umpiring. I spent the whole time talking to Nick and Donald's wife, so I could only stay for a little bit. So
I can imagine it must have been an emotional experience for Mrs. Brotchie.
You know, she was quite pleased to see how things had turned, and it was ongoing jokes. So you guys will all know the backstop that we have over in Edinburgh. Well, he was the one that found that years ago. So that thing's probably 40 years old.
A great way to remember such a legend of Scottish baseball. It's unfortunate that we haven't had a chance to speak to anyone like a Donald Brotchie from back then. And obviously very sad news that on his passing. But it's great to memorialise someone who's such a key figure of Edinburgh baseball history in such a way. And I think it's another testament to how Scottish baseball has grown. And obviously this guy, he had a major hand in that happening.
Yeah, it was exciting. I mean, just to think, you know, it was just a bunch of guys playing in the mid-'80s that got all started, and then it's grown for where it is now. So, I mean, we've all had phenomenal growth in Scottish baseball over the last few years, and it's just awesome to see.
Let's seg from that to another element of the excellent growth that we've made in Scotland and talk to our guest this week, Jason West of the Tayport Breakers.
Hey guys, how's it going?
Hey, thanks for coming on, Jason.
Sorry, you cut out there.
So, yeah, thanks for having us on, Jeff. Thanks for coming on, Jason. So we'll get into that. John, are you still there? Did we lose you already?
I'm still here.
Right.
Everybody's frozen.
Thank you so much for coming on the show, Jason. It's been a long time coming. We've been hoping to get you on the show for months. We were hoping to get you on earlier in the year when the inaugural Tayport Breakers season obviously kicked off. That, you know, coronavirus had other plans for us all, unfortunately. You guys have finally gotten a few games under the belt with the Glasgow guys. We had a game with you this past Sunday, as did the Galaxy. You guys picked up your first win as a club against the Galaxy in the second game of that. Why don't you start with just the feeling of finally getting things underway? How does that feel after all the effort that you've put in, which we'll obviously cover?
Well, I mean, it feels good, obviously. I mean, just to see a little bit of baseball, or, you know, let alone play any. But certainly for the guys that have been around, you know, I mean, we're bordering on 14 or more months, you know, since this project was started. And, you know, the guys that have been around since that time, you know, you feel like you keep telling them, oh, well, you know, next month we'll have baseball, and next month we'll have baseball, and then it never comes. So it's good to get those guys some game time and you know, something to kind of pay them for that effort of sticking with it for so long, but certainly, yeah, no, it was a great day to get out and play a little baseball. Both past weekends with the Glasgow club were fantastic for us as a team.
Now those guys, like you say, they stuck around for a long time. Was it difficult at times to keep the band together? Were there any kind of rumblings of maybe this won't work out, or did you guys always stick together right through it?
No, I mean, that's something that I was probably most proud of with them is I don't think that there were ever any instances of guys making noises like, oh, this is never going to happen or whatever. I mean the guys that have been here from the beginning, our coaches especially. I mean we've got a great core group of coaches that, I mean, really is kind of like having. I mean we've got designated head coaches and that, but really, in my eyes, they're kind of all head coaches in a way. And, depending on what stage of this that we were in, they've almost all of them have had to kind of take over the reins, for a month or a couple of weeks at a time. Ross Marnie, Jamie Key, Scott Black. And, most recently we added Kyle Waddell as our pitching coach. And a couple others as well, that have kind of filled in here and there. So we've been pretty good keeping the train rolling, and we just seem to kind of snowball and add people as we go, like in an old Looney Tunes cartoon. It just picks up size and speed as we roll, and it's been pretty good to see. Again at the games, I mean, we had guys that have been here, like I said, for 13, 14 months, playing right alongside guys that have only been here for 3 weeks, and they're fully committed, all kind of all in that team mentality already. So it's great to see.
It was great to see you guys at the park on Sunday. I missed the first weekend over in Tayport, but obviously I was there this past weekend. You sort of hand-built a baseball field out there. And you mentioned that you've got, a team of kind of dedicated coaches. You've got hitting coaches and pitching coaches, which is kind of unusual for Scottish baseball. Did you set out specifically looking to set yourself apart in that way, or is this just something that you've been fortunate enough to pick up as you've gone along?
I don't know about to set it apart, but certainly from the beginning, it was important that, we weren't building a team to, and, I say it past tense as if we're done. We're not anywhere near being done. But, we didn't set out from the beginning to build a team to play one season, or a couple of seasons while some of us are here. We want something that's going to stick around for a long time, so it was important to make sure that, this is not my baseball team. I don't play baseball well enough to want to have my own team for that reason. I want other people to enjoy the sport and kind of the community that comes along with it. And so being able to to kind of delegate responsibilities early on and really kind of drive home that idea that it's not my team, it's our team, and really get people to invest in it that way. So yeah, I mean, kind of from the beginning, that was one thing that we wanted to do.
Yeah, I mean, great answer, man. And I love the commitment you guys have shown. Even just the small sample size that I got on Sunday, the way that you guys kind of prepare for games is just fantastic. And I kind of feel bad for you guys in a way, because I feel like it would have been so much more deserving for you guys to have been able to play this full first season and see how you guys would kind of stack up against the rest of the league. I've kind of always had in the back of my mind all season that kind of feeling of it's kind of really shitty that these guys haven't had a chance to play a full season.
Yeah, we thought the same.
It's frustrating to get at times, obviously, with this being such a washout of a year and it being such a big effort from you guys, and then obviously circumstances out with all of our control has led to that not happening.
Yeah, I mean, there's pros and cons of it. I mean, we've had a lot of time. I mean, we've been fortunate enough that we were able to train a little bit here towards the last half of lockdown, or once things started to ease up a little bit, so we at least got that time and we were able to add some players that I think will be key for us in the future. So, you know, I don't regret that time at all, you know, but yeah, I mean, it would have been nice to have enough games to kind of work out the butterflies, as it were. And, you know, we've got a lot of good athletes and we've got a lot of dedicated guys, but, you know, there's some things you can't teach in training. Not really. You know, you can't explain to players game speed and what that feels like playing against other players, and, you know, kind of the emotional circumstances of a game and what that does to making a simple throw or not making that throw, as it were. You know, and, you know, I think that's something that I'm, you know, very grateful for, both of the Glasgow teams, you know, being able to work out some friendlies at the end of the season here, just so that we were able, you know, to kind of give that to those players.
So why don't you talk to us next about the name, the Tayport Breakers? How did you guys decide on that? Was there any kind of special significance? Did you always go into, you know, forming the club with that name in mind, or how did that happen?
No, I mean,
I think we should back up first and say, how did you decide to start a baseball team up in Tayport? Because we just haven't touched on that yet before we get to the name.
well, they're kind of the same story, really. You know, we moved here. My wife and I moved here a little over a year ago, and you know, we decided to stay just over the bridge from Dundee, where she's working. Of course, I'm working from home, and, you know, I was just walking the dog out next to the beach, you know, which is pretty much what that area of the park is kind of used for. It's not really part of the commons that's used a lot for sport, and it's not really part of the Tinsmere National Forest. It's kind of the space between spaces out there. And I was kind of, when I first moved back here, you know, I have some ties to the Dundee area because I used to play American football here years back. And so, you know, I was thinking, you know, maybe I'll get back into coaching that. I knew that I wasn't going to play American football anymore, but, you know, I thought, you know, maybe that would be something that I could do with my time. But the team ended up, they weren't playing at the time. I don't know what the plans are, you know, for that club, if there's anything going on there, but I kind of turned back to baseball, and I was looking at my options as far as, okay, I can drive back to Glasgow, I can drive to Edinburgh, I can drive to Aberdeen, all of which are kind of much of a muchness in terms of the length that you're driving, you know, from Tayport. So, you know, I was kind of thinking it over, and literally just kind of over a pint, you know, by myself sitting in front of my computer. I was like, I'll just make my own team, you know. And yeah, so I just made a Facebook page, and the town that I'm from in Mississippi is Tupelo, and the school that I was working at there are the Tupelo Golden Wave. And they have, it's not the same, but it is similar color scheme and logo. But they stole it from Tulane, so I don't think I'm gonna get in too much trouble there.
Your logo and thing was inspired by it then?
Yeah, it was inspired. It's not exactly right because I had to switch some things around, but you know, I quite like the idea of, you know, tying it to the sea and kind of having, even though we're on the East Coast, you know, kind of giving it kind of the West Coast vibe, as it were, you know, not that I'm going surfing anytime soon, but, you know, we can certainly have the go get it out of the water mentality out here. But yeah, you know, so I just I made the page, and, you know, didn't really know anybody, you know, who was living over here that was into baseball. I was just kind of throwing it out there, and, you know, within like a day or two, man, I mean, we had not likes or interest, but we had at least, you know, several thousand people saw the thing, which let me know that it was at least getting shared around a little bit, you know. And then from that, I mean, we probably had, you know, you get a lot of people contact, but you know, some of them, they contact once and then they're gone. But, you know, within a month or so, I mean, I guess we had probably 40 some odd guys and ladies contact us as well. And so I thought, you know, I only need 9. You know, 15 would be great, 20 would be outstanding, and surely I can get that out of 40, you know. So we started, you know, this was while last year's season was still going on. We started, you know, just having some just kind of pick up, you know, just a throw around. I mean, because we didn't have any equipment other than the stuff that I personally owned. You know, so I bought a couple of spare gloves the last time I was able to visit the States, and had those kicking around. And it was just really nice. I mean, just to kind of have everybody out, and some people were out for a laugh and they didn't really know what to expect. And, you know, it was kind of a one and done thing, and it wasn't really for them. But then we had, you know, some people that have been with us ever since, and it just kind of took off from there.
Now, you spent a stretch as a Glasgow Galaxy player a couple of years back before you headed over to Tayport. It's my understanding that you no longer play, is that right?
Well, I do. I'm just, I no longer play in front of people that are better than me. So, you know, I mean, don't get me wrong. I love to play. Baseball is not my first sport. It's never been something that I've just been tremendously good at. What I'm good at is keeping people and things organized, you know, and so kind of taking that role of GM, you know, even my coaching ability, while I have some knowledge of the game, it's really more geared towards, you know, either, you know, beginner players or younger players when we start to develop the youth teams. You know, with that kind of stuff, I can help. But the more intricate stuff, you know, I knew from the beginning, you know, that I was going to have to find guys who had some experience and were a little bit more up for that coaching side of it, so that I could spend more of my time doing the things that I knew was going to take to get a club off the ground from scratch, which is, you know, finding the funding and, you know, gaining the permissions and speaking with the people within the community. You know, I knew that was going to be a lot of the legwork that needed doing. And it's just, it's too much for one person. So, yeah, you know, I do still play. I do still plan on playing, you know, I don't know, I might fill in the DH spot here and there, but I can't hit either. So we'll see. We'll see about that.
You're by no means alone in that regard in this league.
I get lucky every now and then. I think I hit one off Elvis on Sunday, but then did my typical ground out to first the rest of the time, which is kind of my calling card, I think. You know, if you need a faster runner than me, advanced from second to third, I'm your guy. That's about all I'm good for.
For some of us, that's a good day, Jason. That's a good day for some of us, myself included. Yeah. So talk to me about 9 days ago, the first game for you guys. It was against Glasgow Select at your home field. You wake up that day, how do you feel after 14 months of preparation and getting this thing together after all the frustration of this year?
Well, I was knackered because I didn't sleep at all, man. Like I, you know, I was just like you kind of piece things together again, you know, over the course of the year. Like I bought things here and there, like we had never taken the outfield fence out of the wrapper. You know what I mean? Like in theory, I had everything that we needed, you know, but you know, some of it we had never even, you know, really tested. I had just got the benches for the sides in the post the day before. They were still in boxes in the living room, you know, and just little things, you know, you kind of always, it's like preparing to go on a long trip, you know, you're like, I know there's something that I've forgotten, you know, but it was a great day for it. And I don't know, I guess overall I was nervous more because, you know, I think one of the biggest differences about our team is that you know, we're not in a bigger city, you know. I mean, yeah, like Dundee's close, but this is not Dundee's team. This is Tayport's team, you know. And for all intents and purposes, you know, we try to keep as much as we can close to home, you know, in that regard. So, again, you know, from the beginning, you know, we've had a great response and really been welcomed by a lot of people in the community, and they've kind of stuck their neck out for us a little bit as well, you know, giving us, you know, all the permissions and things, you know, that we needed to proceed. And, you know, people saying that they're looking forward to seeing it. And of course, you know, they pass me in the street and that's all I talk about. And I don't think I own any clothes anymore that don't have the Breaker logo on it. And, you know, so it was nice to see the people. I mean, obviously we couldn't advertise it like I wanted to, you know. I mean, I had all these grand designs in my head, you know. I wanted jumpy castles for the kids and ice cream and popcorn and all that, you know, and because that's what we're building towards is, you know, a community of baseball, you know, but obviously, you know, COVID put a damper on that, you know. But it was nice to see people kind of passing by from a distance and, you know, watching from the outfield fence or, you know, kind of on the outskirts, just kind of seeing what's going on there. Specifically, I mean, for all those community members who really were integral in kind of making that happen. It was great to see them something actually come to fruition of it, you know. So it was a good day all in all, but I didn't breathe too well until it was all said and done and put back in the trailer, you know.
I wasn't there, as I said, but it was a pretty tight game from beginning to finish, wasn't it, the first one?
Well, almost to finish. We did okay, you know, and like, you know, much like with the games the last weekend, you know, I mean, we understand that these are not necessarily true representations of like what you would see from either team in a normal season, you know. But it was really, I don't know, it was just really good, I think, for us to kind of go ahead and get out there, you know, in that respect.
I love it, man. Yeah, so happy for you guys to finally, after so much prep work and after everything, to finally have had a couple of games under your belt. Now, moving forward from that, next season obviously will be your inaugural Baseball Scotland National League season, and hopefully you'll be able to get the bouncy castles out for opening day then, as long as things get back to normal enough. What are your plans for next season and beyond? As far as your first season, where do you expect to finish in the table? What's your kind of expectations, and is there anything that you're specifically looking for out of the players?
I mean, as far as my expectations, you know, that's the other thing about being a GM is that I expect everything, you know. Yeah. We're go big or go home, and that's you know, I feel like that's the way you got to approach everything, you know. We'll aim for the moon, and if we get the middle, then that's fine, you know. But you know, I think realistically we've got some talent. We were able, you know, I feel like we're in one of those sports films like The Replacements or something, where like you get all these random guys from different walks of life at different ages, and they come in, you know. I mean, we got, you know, guys who are, you know, known in other sports, you know, be it cricket or golf or you know, what have you, and they've kind of brought these transferable skills over. And I mean, we've got some really, really talented guys. I mean, just obviously, I mean, like I said, I mean, like we got Kyle coming in, you know, I mean, to help us out with the pitching and coaching standpoint. Davey Farr has been great for us since he joined. as well as we got guys, you know, who maybe they played softball or something of that nature. You know, obviously some transferable skill there. But then we got guys that had never played baseball before until 13 months ago. you know, and they've come out religiously, and they've been here every time, and they've gotten better everything that we had, whether it was during our indoor sessions where we're primarily just, you know, hitting off a tee into a net, and then, you know, throwing a tennis ball around, that kind of stuff, you know, versus, you know, when we actually are able to get on the field. You know, these guys have just come along exponentially, you know. So I expect big things from them, man. I really do. You know, it's just a matter of getting them to a level of comfort so that they can see what their potential is, you know. And I think even just these little 3 games that we had, I think you could see the difference. I mean, even just on Sunday, like you could see the difference in the guys between the Comets game and the Galaxy game, you know. Comets, I felt like, you know, and we talked about this before the game, during the game, and after the game. You know, I said, you know, the Comets, man, they got a lot of veteran players, and they're quick, and they will run those bases on you faster than you can blink. If you give them anything, they're going to take twice that, you know, and that's baseball. That's the sport, you know. So just be ready for it. And clearly we were not ready for it. But you know, that's how you learn this game. And you know, just to see them, you know, towards the end of the first game and certainly into the second one, to see them mentally make those decisions. Hey, I would love to throw that guy out at first all the way over here from third, but I don't think I can make that throw accurately. So instead, I'm just going to hang on to that ball, you know, and, you know, making those decisions, you know, what can I afford to give up versus what am I risking here? And, you know, little steps and achievements like that, you know, knowing, you know, you better be watching the pitcher because he may turn around and pick you off if you're standing talking to me at first base, you know, that kind of stuff. Little learning challenges, you know, and they learn quick, they adapt. And, you know, so yeah, I expect a lot from these guys next year. And I think they expect it from themselves, which I think is key.
Yep. You guys pick up the first team win over the 3-time defending champion Galaxy, your former club. How did that feel when you guys got the final out and you finally had your first victory under your belt?
I'll be completely honest, man. I was in complete disbelief. One, I wasn't sure if, you know, like if we were calling it there, you know, because it was the end of the doubleheader, and I wasn't really sure, you know, how that was going to play out. But you know, again, like we understand, you know, that they were missing a lot of key guys, and you know, we were missing a couple as well. And we had, you know, some plagued by some minor injury throughout the day as well, you know, from the first game. And so, you know, it felt great to play again, you know, obviously with the guys from Glasgow, and just because we know that they take it seriously, just like we want to take it seriously, you know. So it's just a great day out with them all together. But, you know, at the end of the day, a win's a win, and I'll take it. You know, maybe I've got a little mental asterisk by it, you know, that it's not, you know, it is, you know, the COVID season and everything's a little weird and the snozberries taste like snozberries, but I'm going to take that W and take it on into the winter.
As well you should. You mentioned a couple of injuries. Everyone doing okay?
Oh, yeah, you know, just typical baseball stuff, man. You know, little tweaks here and there, and, you know, nothing too serious. Just, you know, a lot of it, too, is just, you know, it's not like we were coming in cold, you know, but not in so much as the same as anybody else was, you know, or any other team is, you know, kind of. It's not like you've been playing it for the whole season and you're, you know, fully used to taking that many pitches, or even running the bases a certain way. You know, you can certainly push yourself to the limit without realizing it, you know, without building up that kind of muscle memory and I guess physicality that is needed to play the sport. You know, again, you know, it would have been nice when we had all that all that beautiful weather in June and July, to have been out there, you know, getting around the bases a little bit then, instead of here now almost in October. So
you mentioned that. What's the plans for you guys for the rest of 2020? Are you going to wrap things up in the next couple of weeks, or are you going to try and get some indoor stuff by the end of the year?
yeah, well, you know, I mean, obviously we've got the training this weekend for the guys going down to Kent. And so, you know, there's a couple of us that are going to be involved in that. And, you know, there's whispers and talk of, you know, other tournaments and things that might be happening or not happening. We don't know. So for all intents and purposes, otherwise, we're kind of shut down for the moment. I think there's still, you know, obviously because we play in a public area, you know, I mean, we got guys that are, you know, you might have guys out there every day of the week, you know, a different group, you know, small group of guys working on one thing or the other. But, you know, officially, yeah, I mean, we're going to kind of shut it down for at least a month or so while we sort out, you know, where we're going to be doing our indoor training, because we had the place that we used last year may or may not be reopening post-COVID. So, you know, jury's still out on that as far, you know, if that's going to be where we return or if we need to find a new spot. But, you know, we'll certainly find something within the next little while, and try to get something in before Christmas. You know, of course, this is the time as well, you know, where I'm back on the wagon of looking for funding, you know, for all the things that we want to do next year, which is a lot. So, yeah, you know, it's got to come from somewhere. And so, you know, trying to look at as many options as we can for getting those taken care of.
Excellent, man. Well, all the best with the rest of 2020 and beyond. Look forward to playing you guys again with the Comets. I can't wait to finally make my first trip to your guys' field. I have nothing else for Jason. Other Jason, do you have anything else you want to add?
Yeah, actually, I got quite a few questions for you. So you made a distinction between Dundee and Tayport. Was that because you had more people in Tayport to do so, or you just wanted to kind of do something a little different, or because you lived there and that was what it was?
Well, yeah, I mean, the main thing is, you know, the field is like 2 blocks from my house.
Yeah.
So, you know,
I have the same problem.
But the thing is, it's like, you know, I'm from a pretty small town area, you know, and, you know, again, like I don't have a lot of the baseball knowledge that a lot of these guys have. I don't have the experience that they have, but what I do have is, you know, kind of memories from my childhood of playing badly then as well. But, you know, I do remember, you know, kind of that feeling, you know, that like, you know, you can smell when it's baseball season, you know. I mean it's just one of those things, you know, like whether it's, you know, when they first start cutting the grass or whatever it is. And I guess that day out on the field, you know, that's what it was that it was that right time of year. And I was like, man, you know, it feels like baseball season out here. And so I think, again, you know, like, I really feel like Tayport is in a prime area because we're kind of hitting that gap between places like St. Andrews and Dundee. You're not too far from, you know, Kirkcaldy area, Perth. You know, we wanted a location where people could, you know, we're wanting to create this identity where we are. Rather than tack on to something that maybe had been there before. So the fact that nothing like this was ever done in Tayport specifically, we like the idea of doing here, because it's something new. It's something that, you know, it's ours. We own it. And, you know, whether, you know, sink or swim, it's on us. So.
Did you hear about the game that was played in Dundee a few years ago? I think Ross Marnie was there.
Yeah, you know, I mean, like when I first thought about doing the team, obviously, like I looked to see if there was already a team. You know, I was like, well, you know, maybe there's something already going, and you know, I kind of found it's like ancient artifacts, like digging stuff up, like there's like a piece of a team here and a piece of a team there, and like one game happened here, and then I reached out to a couple people through social media and different stuff, and never could get a straight answer from a lot of people about whether there is a team, if there was, what was it called, was it baseball, was it softball, and no one seemed to know. So I was like, well, forget it, we'll just do we'll do something different.
Well, there was an effort a while back, and then there was a guy named Brian Edwards who was trying to run it there, and he was the former coach of the Dundee Dodgers back in the day, because Davey Farr will tell you about it. They won the national championship for the under-12s.
Okay.
So there's definitely where I said, there's definitely talent in the area. And obviously, if you're winning the under-12 championship for all of the UK, and they came from Dundee, so there's going to be talent there.
Yeah, I mean, like again, like some of these relics keep popping up. Like somebody, like I think it was Scott, showed up in one of this old uniforms. They're like some kind of weird velvet terry cloth, like it looks like some kind of velour suit or something else. Like I don't know when that's from, but it ain't recent. But yeah, I think there's a lot of talent around the area, and something that I like though is that it's not what you see with some American sports. You get kind of an influx of, every year you get guys coming into university from the States or from other places, and they're here for a year and then they're gone. Not that we're discouraging that, obviously if they're here for a year, they want to play some baseball, then by all means, but I think it's important that the core group, or the core components of your team, are kind of from the area, which again is why we're putting such an effort this year into building up the youth programs, because I think having youth programs, and now the universities are getting more involved in baseball as well. I think helping those guys along and pushing the baseball from an early age is going to be tremendous in keeping the sport going and pushing it further.
I'll ask you one more question, then we'll let you go. I want to know how much Pete Rose helped grow the team.
Man, I don't know if anybody knew Pete Rose that is still young enough to play, but I thought that he might be at least a recognizable name. I think the only people that recognized him though were the people that probably lost money in the bet shop. But I thought it was cool anyway, and I was bored, and it was December, so
that was cool. It was like, hey, that's Pete Rose. He's mentioned the Scottish baseball. I said that was awesome.
Yeah, man, he likes the name. So, but if nothing else, man, Charlie Hustle is a fan, so it's okay.
Cool. I've got nothing else. Just John, do you have anything before we call it a night?
Oh, that's everything from me as well, Jason. Mr. West, Jay, thank you so much for joining us on the show. Like we said, it's been a long time coming. Congratulations on the first couple of games, and as I said earlier, I just wish you guys all the best for the future. It's great to see that you guys are here to stay. And yeah, just keep going on and keep doing what you're doing.
Thanks, man. Thanks, guys, for having me on.
Thanks, man.
Best of luck next season.
All right, man. See you guys later.
Bye-bye. So that was Jason West of the Tayport Breakers. Jason, just a great guy, and it was awesome to finally get him on.
It was great. It's been a long, long time coming. Gosh,
Definitely.
We've been talking about this show for a good 8 months.
We've probably been talking about having Jason on since more or less we started the podcast, which is over a year ago. So pretty much as soon as we both heard that he was going to be doing this up in Tayport is when we started talking about having him on. So it's great to finally do it. And it's good to have him be the first video cast as well. So I guess the stars have aligned in a way, and it's just been great. To move on from the interview then, what do you have for this day in baseball history? For the listeners and, as it were, the viewers?
Nothing. No, so we'll talk about the secret project because by the time we probably post this, it will be live. So I've been spending all my time. I was asked to, sorry, I should go over this. So as Dugout Classics, I was asked to join a fundraiser for the Negro League Baseball Museum. So currently it's about 80 artists and baseball makers involved. They're still hoping no more, and we will be raising funds for the Negro League come October 5th, I believe. It's Monday the 5th, and running for 5 days there. And obviously, any proceeds from any of these artists and makers that we sold will go directly to the Negro League Museum. I've been working in the background on various things. I guess we should announce our exciting news. We will be the lead people on interviewing all these artists and makers. So we'll be on live from pretty much probably about 9:30, 9:45 every night for the next 3.5 weeks. And we'll be taking people on and talking about their products and stuff like that. So for us, that's hopefully will grow us, and we'll go worldwide. Our fans in Ohio will be thrilled.
For those who don't know, Ohio is the US state where our podcast is most listened to. So if you're watching from Ohio or listening to the audio version of this show from there, shout out to you guys. Get in touch, and we will we'll give you guys a shout out and perhaps even send you a wee cheeky something from the Dugout Classic store if Jason's feeling generous.
Yeah, why not? Like I said, you reach out to us, we'll do that. But yes, so we're testing video, and then we're basically just going live for the next 3.5 weeks. And,
we'll be live every day, pretty much for 3.5 weeks. And are we going to tell people who the guest of honor is going to be?
No, not yet. We'll wait, let them go because we don't have dates yet. So we'll see. But there'll be a lot.
That's you for a while, and before we announce. I'm super excited for this. This is a project unlike any I've ever been involved with, either in a podcast platform or in any other aspect of life. So it's just great, and the exposure that this affords us is next to none. And the actual cause that we're working for is one that I think both of us are quite passionate about. And this year of all years, I think is quite pertinent. Obviously, with the 100th anniversary of the Negro Leagues just a while back, and everything else that's been going on in the world with regards to racial injustice and things of that nature, the movements that have sprung up from that, I think it's I don't think there's any more perfect time as it were for a project like this, and it's great to be getting involved from our standpoint. I can't wait.
I mean, gosh, I hate to say they got screwed, but COVID really threw things off. They're expecting people to come all summer long. They had to close down for the summer, so they lost out on a lot of revenue. And especially being the 100th year of the Negro Leagues, I mean, you couldn't pick a worse year to be shut down for the summer.
It's been bad timing.
So I know they were doing a lot of stuff with MLB. I think we had one team so far where was it Cubs versus Cardinals. They wore the Negro League uniforms back then, but there was big things planned for the Negro Leagues over the summer. So yeah, I just thrilled that we're the European side of things, and thrilled that we're lucky enough to be the podcasters, or I guess we're not even podcasters, we're live recording for this. So it should be pretty awesome. Hopefully you guys find the guests interesting. I know a lot of them from Instagram like that, and their work's superb. I can't wait.
So Jason, where can people find the video of these?
So we're doing it on, we're going to do it on our Ballcaps and Bagpipes YouTube channel, aren't we?
Are you want to do it there, or was it the Dugout Classics one?
Doesn't matter. Either we'll have a place to go for it.
Tell you what, we'll add it to both of them. You can find it on both, and we'll give everyone a heads up of where each show is going to be. Now, this show that we've just done with Jason West and all the podcasts that we're going to do with the artists, they will also be released as audio shows as normal through the Anchor app, like we normally do. These will just be listed as bonus episodes. So you can find that at anchor.fm/caps and pipes and at any podcast platform of your choosing. But please do join us in future for the video version. Eventually we're planning to do the podcast and the normal podcast live, and hopefully we'll manage to get some kind of an interactive element with you guys in the chat down the line. But for now, that's pretty much all from me, Jason.
Hey, that's it. You'll see us in 2 more days. Hopefully this will be out maybe tonight, tomorrow. We'll know. But yes, I can't wait. And we'll go live on probably YouTube or Facebook once we figure out how to do all this stuff.
And you can keep up to date with what we're doing with it by visiting Ballcaps and Bagpipes on either Facebook or Twitter. It's at Caps and Pipes on Twitter, and just search Ballcaps and Bagpipes on Facebook. And thank you so much for joining us for our first ever videocast, or if you're listening to us as an audio show.
Once, be like, see you later.
Bye. Bye, Jason.
Bye.